Hey guys, welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Special thanks to all my patrons. My name's Neil, and it's time for the next episode of Lost. Episode 7, Season 6 already, guys. We're down to the final 11 episodes. And before I forget, I need a little confirmation from you, the guys that have seen this before. I have been warned that the series finale, episode 617, there's multiple versions of it out there. And that's because it was a 2-hour episode and the networks cut it down for whatever reason. I'm on Disney Plus. I have it as a single episode, not two separate parts. And it times out at 1 hour and 45, which is more than two 42-minute episodes. It looks like it's got an extra 20 plus minutes in it, but I want to make sure before I do watch it that I'm watching the right one, so please let me know in the comments below if that's the one I should be watching, or if there's even a longer version out there that I need to track down. And if you know where I can find that other even longer version, let me know. I'll find it, because I do want to watch the right finale, if that makes sense. Episode 7. A lot of my comments so far this season have been about the Flash sideways, and the more I think about it and the more we see of it, the more I feel like it just isn't real. It feels like something else. What that something else is, I'm not entirely sure, but we've seen enough of it now that we're starting to see what purpose maybe it's serving. Let's look at the different storylines we've seen. We've seen Claire sort of come to terms with keeping her baby. We've seen Locke come to terms with his disability. We've seen Jack come to terms with the fact that maybe he's actually a good father and come to terms with what a good father-son relationship can look like. We've seen Saeed perhaps come to terms with the fact that he is a killer and he doesn't belong with Nadia. We've seen Hurley come to terms with Hurley's got his shit together. He calls himself the luckiest man in the world. He seems in a really good place. So it feels to me, all of these sorts of things sort of reinforce in my mind that this is a bit of a wish fulfillment thing. It's about putting our characters in a good place. And whether that good place is literally the good place, or whether it's almost like plugging them back into the Matrix, depends on whether you want to have a pessimistic or an optimistic view, I suppose. But in any case, it certainly doesn't feel to me like it can all be explained by the island sinking in 77. I know there's the butterfly effect and yada yada yada, but it just doesn't add up to me. So it feels like it's something else. And I'm curious to see what that turns into. I am super curious about the lighthouse. What was Jacob up to all these years? Why did he visit our candidates? Did he visit more people on Flight 815 and we just haven't seen that? You know, let's think about some of the, Rousseau was a candidate. Her name was on the dial in the lighthouse. I think Shannon's name was in there. So how many people over the years were candidates? I don't know, but was everyone on 815 a candidate, or was it just select people and other people just ended up being extras on the island? What we know is it's not Locke. Dead is dead. Locke is not Locke. Locke is Unlock. Locke is Flock. Locke is Smokey. Locke is the smoke monster. And we also know it's not Saeed or Claire. They are both infected, claimed by the smoke monster. And that trio has now taken over the temple. our Japanese guardian and his translator. I never learned their names. They're dead. And Kate may be wrapped up in their business now. She seems... she didn't escape with the others, let's put it that way. So I worry for her safety, especially since Claire's already said that she's going to kill Kate if she finds out that Kate took Aaron. This last season is strange because I just don't know where it's going. And I like that. I feel like because it's the final season, if it was clear what the end, the finale of the season was pointing towards, maybe that would take some of the excitement off. In previous seasons, we knew what the finale was going to be about, if not specifically how it was all going to happen. We knew season 5 was going to end with the incident. We knew season 4 was going to end with our Oceanic 6 returning to the island. We knew season 3 was going to end with at least the start of rescue, and so on. So this season is weird because I just don't know where it's going. The closest I can assume is that there is going to be a new Jacob. Jacob's dead. There needs to be a new guardian of the island, something to keep the smoke monster in place, to keep Locke trapped on the island. It's interesting. Locke has certainly been a bit of a puppet to the smoke monster and the island for much of the entire show, ever since episode 4, when he confronted the smoke monster alone in the jungle while hunting boar. And we know he's been susceptible to manipulation. Ben played Locke like a puppet over and over and over again. Locke's own fears and insecurities are easy buttons to push if you know where to find them. But it's interesting because Locke, from the beginning, it was clear he was the one survivor of 815 that didn't want to leave the island. He wanted to remain, He knocked out Saeed, etc., etc. And now that he's the smoke monster, he's the one that wants to leave, and the rest of our survivors have to act to prevent him from leaving. It's this reversal. I'm going to have so much fun, I think, when this show is over. Rewatching. I've as you know, I watch a couple of other reactors. I love seeing them see stuff that I've seen for the first time, but I think I may actually rewatch the entire series again, assuming I can find the time, and really start piecing together my opinion of everything that's happening, because this show is open to interpretation. There is not a clear, definitive answer to everything that's happened. There's so much room for interpretation, and I don't think that's going to suddenly become crystallized and clarified in the final episodes. I like that there's some ambiguity in the show, and I look forward to sort of clarifying my own opinions about it. And for those of you who've been asking and wondering, I will be doing additional Lost content beyond these reactions. I don't know exactly how frequently or exactly what nature those reactions will be, but I promise you this, there will be additional Lost content from Neil Talks beyond episode 617. And I also apologize for the construction noise in the building. I waited an hour this morning hoping it would stop, but it's clear this is just going to be an all-day thing. I hope I can tune it out of the audio, but the show must go on. Anyway, I don't know what's going to happen in this episode. I'm assuming it's going to be about Ben, though, who's kind of taken a back burner in the last few episodes, ever since it became clear that Ben was a pretender, that he had never actually met Jacob, that he had become a pawn in Unlock's game. Ben's kind of become a secondary character. He's taken a back seat this season. And it's been interesting watching him deal with that. So it'll be kind of neat to see a full episode of that and seeing what his new motivations are, where he goes from here now that he's clearly been knocked down off of his perch. So this is episode 7, and it's called Dr.Linus. Is Ben just running on his own, or is he with the others? I thought he was with the others. Yeah.
Where's Jura?
I'm fine, thank you.
Where is he?
Considering that he just killed Dogan, I don't think he's going to be joining us.
Are you sure?
He was standing over their dead bodies holding a bloody dagger, so yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And it was on this island that everything changed. That everything finally became clear. Elba.
Napoleon.
Exile wasn't the worst of his fate. What was truly devastating to him was the loss of his power.
Exile.
He might just as well have been dead. Principal Reynolds, good morning.
Oh, the principal.
Walk with me.
Don't recognize him.
I'm going to need you to supervise detention after school today.
But we have history club today. Those kids need
They're spare me. The club isn't for them. It's for you. It makes you feel needed. Unfortunately, for now, you're needed in detention.
It's Dr. Linus, actually.
Yeah. Titles are meaningless. Might as well be dead.
It's ruined.
What's the problem, Liz?
Arts is a teacher at this school. Makes total sense.
Principal Reynolds is an administrator. He's not a teacher. He's forgotten what the public school system is about.
Maybe you should be the principal. Sounds like you care about this place. And if the man in charge doesn't, then maybe it's time for a change.
Who's going to listen to me?
I'm listening.
Allegory, metaphor, inspiration.
How about you tell me what that thing back there was?
That thing's what killed her friends back at the statue.
And Jacob, right?
Yeah, of course, and Jacob.
Of course. This is what's left of Jacob's body.
Ben knew that, right? The ashes.
So tell me, Miles, how did he die?
Yeah, Alana doesn't trust Ben. He knows. What is he gonna say?
Linus killed him.
What?
Yeah.
That's not true.
Are you sure?
Well, he was standing over Jacob's dead body with a bloody dagger, so...
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Benjamin Linus, how far you've fallen. He does have a bit of a Napoleon complex too, doesn't he? You know, the small man daring to be great. They're letting him stay with them.
See what food's left. Maybe get a fire going.
Yeah, a fire will fix everything.
I love how much Miles has grown on me.
You know, psychic, totally unreliable. Miles actually tried to blackmail me once into...
Yeah, you've lost it, Ben.
You make friends easy, don't you?
Zero sway. Oh.
It ain't one of them lean deals, is it?
No, Dad. As I look out at those ingrates that I'm tasked with watching, I can't help thinking that maybe I'm more a loser than any of them.
Imagine how different our lives would have been if we'd stayed.
Yes, we'd have both lived happily ever after.
Who knows what you would have become?
A temporarily great man. Oh.
Alex?
Dr. Linus,
What?
where were you today?
What?
Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. in the library. And you bring the coffee.
Why is Alex in LA? I mean, I guess Danielle could have moved to LA, but... Okay. Okay.
Excuse me.
I accept it.
Your last name is Kwan. So is his. And I don't know whether I'm supposed to protect you, him, or both of you. protect us. What are you talking about?
Because you're number 42. You're a candidate.
You're
maybe.
candidates. We're only 6 left.
So we aren't crossing Saeed off the list. I feel like Jarrah is no longer a candidate. So we're left with Hurley, Jack, Sawyer, and the Quans. Right? Who am I forgetting? Because Locke's dead and Jarrah is claimed.
You know, maybe we should take our time.
Why?
Because?
Share info, Hurley. Jack might believe you.
You're both wrong. Where did you come from?
Would you believe me if I told you?
The Black Rock.
Dude, you trust that guy?
I kind of do.
At least he's not Stalin.
Well, Sawyer's old tent.
Give me a hand getting some more firewood.
Just looking for something useful.
Booty babes. The B spot.
The things people will bring on a trip.
You know, I was supposed to be flying it.
And why didn't you?
I overslept.
Come on.
Imagine how different my life would be had that alarm gone off.
The island still got you in the end, didn't it?
Okay. Change of tone. We going to the graveyard? Where are we going? Yeah.
Oh.
She's leashing him.
What?
Pick it up and start digging.
Are we digging Locke's body?
Dig what?
A grave.
For who?
We murdered
Yourself.
Jacob.
Digging your own grave.
The East India Trading Company's power extended to all of India except for...
Goa.
It's only my entire life, Dr. Linus.
You're one of the brightest students I've ever had. I don't worry about your future at all. I'll write you a great letter of recommendation.
No, I need someone who went there. Unfortunately, the only one I know is that pervert, Principal Reynolds.
Excuse me? Pervert?
Give me dirt.
Linus, if I tell you, will you promise to keep it between us?
Of course I promise.
In the room right next to me. Isn't that totally gross?
Totally.
Well, the gears are turning. I need to know whether it was Goa. I think it was Goa.
Do you remember once you asked me for $3.2 million? Do you still want it?
Why would I need your money when there are a couple of jabonis under there with $8 million in diamonds on top of them?
Mm-hmm.
Right up until the second the knife went through his heart. He was hoping he was wrong about you. I guess he wasn't.
Wow.
Dig!
Jacob was hoping.
I'm not a cyborg.
Vampire?
Jacob gave me a gift.
He totally came on the Black Rock, didn't he, Richard Alpert?
I
Was
thought
he
you
the
said we
cat?
were going to the temple, dude.
I lied.
Why?
Because everyone at the temple's dead.
Jacob kind of sort of hinted at it.
You spoke to Jacob? Well, whatever he said, don't believe him.
It's something I need to do.
Why doesn't
do what?
Richard trust Jacob?
Die.
I need to die.
Could you, hypothetically, access someone's email account without their knowledge?
Whose?
Nurse Kondraki. I'm curious about some of her correspondence.
With whom?
He whomed.
I want Lamore's spot in the main parking lot, the one next to the maple tree,
Yeah.
not under the maple tree. next to
The power struggle is
the
real.
maple tree. And I want some lab equipment in here that was built in this decade. Is that a deal?
Deal.
Linus, you're a real killer.
They took my dynamite. Yeah, Locke said, not seeing you in chains. Like he was he a slave? No, even more dynamite. Oh, good sweaty dynamite again.
Even if I wanted to. And trust me, I do. I can't kill myself. Which is why I want you to do it for me. When Jacob touches you, well, it's considered a gift. Except it's not a gift at all.
Jacob.
It's a curse.
Jacob touched all of our people when he saw them in the real world over the years.
Everything was happening for a reason. That he had a plan.
Is the
planet
touch
I was a part of.
immortality?
Why do I want to die? Because I just found out my entire life had no purpose.
He wants to die. There's nothing we're going to do to stop him.
We're just killing Richard? Is the island gonna let Richard die?
Now, let's talk.
Oh, Jack, you're getting a little lock crazy.
Hurley, go ahead. We'll be all right.
Dude, you're gonna blow up!
Gotta talk to him, Hurley. Just go. I'll be fine.
Jack has faith.
And you're going to die.
I don't think I am.
Actually, I don't think either one of us is gonna die. For some reason, he wanted me to know that he had been watching me ever since I was a kid.
Why?
I have no idea why.
You tell me.
What if you're wrong?
I'm not. Want to try another stick?
So now what?
Go back to where we started.
They're going to the beach too, then? We got all these separate storylines we need to, like, start combining. Oh. Hello, John.
Hello, Ben. I'm gathering a group to leave this place for good. But once we're gone, someone's going to need to be in charge of the island.
Oh.
Come to the other island, to the Hydra Station. 200 yards inland, there's a tree in a clearing with a rifle leaning up against it.
Wait till she turns around before you bail, you idiot.
Those are 30 emails that cover a 3-month period. Think the school board would frown on. Not to mention your wife. You're going to resign. You're going to recommend that the school board hire me as your replacement.
Dear Principal Reynolds, I would appreciate it if you could write a letter of recommendation to Yale on my behalf. Sincerely, Alexandra Rousseau. There will be an unfortunate side effect.
Alex doesn't go to Yale.
Torch Miss Rousseau and her future. What'll it be, Dr. Linus?
Put the gun down!
He's... Oh, man.
What are you waiting for?
I know what you're feeling. I watched my daughter Alex die, and it was my fault. I chose the island over her. All in the name of Jacob. And he didn't even care. I'm sorry that I killed Jacob. And I do not expect you to forgive me, because I can
don't
never
forgive myself.
Forgive myself.
And what do you want?
Let me leave. Because he's the only one that'll have me.
I'll have you.
Wow. Look who's the bigger man. Alana's the bigger man. Did he take the job?
Dr. Linus. I was just coming by to thank Principal Reynolds. He wrote me the most incredible letter of recommendation.
Wow, wonderful. So I see you at History Club. Principal Reynolds found someone to cover for detention. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's right.
He did the right thing.
Hey, did you do it?
Nope.
Well, what about my parking space?
You can have mine.
It's all about the kids. A little surprised to see a rebel flag on her backpack. Is this just Linus's redemption episode?
Do you need a hand?
Miles has the diamonds. All right, we're getting a bit of a reunion now. This is good. This is good. This is necessary. One of these days, we're going to get Sun and Jin back together. Everybody hugs Hugo. Nice to meet you. Linus. Wow, he's just broken. Who's watching them from the water? Is there a submarine? What was that? There's a frickin' sub?
Should we stop? No. Proceed as planned.
Yes, Whitmore's sub. So much fun. So much fun. Oh, I swear, I'm not sure there's ever been a character in television that whose my opinion of has changed more, and not just from A to B, than Ben Linus, but like there's certainly characters out there, great literary, cinematic characters that, you know, you start off thinking one thing of them, and by the end of the story you think something completely different. But I'm not sure there's ever been a character like Benjamin Linus where every time you get an episode where you spend a little bit of serious time with him, your opinion of him changes again and again and again, over and over and over. This was his redemption episode. This is the Benjamin Linus is at his core a good person episode. Because for the first time, first time on the island, I believe him. I believe what he said to Alana. Because we kind of already knew that. We knew that he felt so angry at Jacob after sacrificing his daughter and still being considered unimportant by the man that he had spent the previous 30 years focusing all of his energy worshiping. You know, being refused by your own God, that's pretty powerful and causes you to go to some dark places, I would imagine. A lot of fun, you know, making the power structure of the high school an allegory for power on the island. You know, the desire for power in conflict with the desire for the good of the kids or the good of the others on the island. That was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that Art was at the high school too. Kind of crazy that, you know, you've got Locke, Ben, and Art all teaching together. And like, why did Danielle Rousseau move to LA? Who knows? But doesn't sound like she's doing great if she's working 2 jobs just to pay rent. Like, wasn't she a scientist? And it sounds like she's a single mom. So what happened to Robert? But in any case, you know, Ben and Alex had, it's almost like Ben had this alternate world, because the Flash Sideways, it's like I said in the preamble, it feels like a place where our characters can come to terms with some of their most basic internal conflicts. And this one obviously was all about Ben, and, you know, this was his chance to do right by Alex. You know, he made the wrong choice on the island when Kimi had a gun to Alex's head when he put the island above his daughter. And now he got to put his daughter above his own personal ambitions, even though Alex obviously not his daughter, but she's that placeholder. You know what I mean? She's the student, like he's the teacher that really, really cares about the kids. And you buy that. And yet, you know, he's clearly got these Machiavellian machinations. He's capable of that, even in the Flash Sideways. Except he chooses differently. There is free will. I still don't buy that it's real, but it was really fun to see nonetheless. It, like I said, the Flash Sideways feels like a place where our characters can find peace. And this was a fun episode because Ben got to find peace in the Flash Sideways and on the island. I don't know what it'll be interesting to see. We cut before we got to see Jack and Ben have any sort of conversation. But I love that we've reunited at that level. Jack has found the faith. Jack doesn't know what his purpose is yet, but Jack is basically where Locke was back in season 1, where he knows he has a purpose. And for Locke back in the day, it was all about getting into the hatch. He felt like that was why he was here. And now Jack Jacob has a purpose for him, and he just doesn't know what it is, and he's on this journey to find it. And he is 100% certain of that, willing to blow himself up in the Black Rock. I wished we'd gotten a little bit more about Richard's history, but it's clear that he did arrive on the Black Rock. He looked at those chains. I remember Flock saying something to the effect of, "Good to see you out of chains." But does that mean Richard arrived as one of the slaves? Because, I mean, isn't he the wrong ethnicity for that? Wouldn't he be the slaver, not the slave? I mean, maybe the Black Rock isn't what we thought it was. But yeah, fascinating. I'm very curious to see what happens next, because, like I said, other than presumably this series wraps up with one of our candidates becoming the new Jacob. But beyond that, I have no idea where the show goes. I don't know what the conclusion is. There much more has to happen. What happens to our other characters? Do they need to get off the island? We've tried that and it didn't necessarily work. So what is the conclusion to the show going to be? I'm very, very, very curious. And there's part of me that wants to just binge watch the remainder of this series today and tomorrow. But I feel like my reactions, I would become less. I'm not pretending that my thoughts right now are super coherent, but I would certainly become less coherent in my chats if I did that. I have to pace myself. I have to dole this show out in smaller, less frequent doses, just so that I have time to really think and ponder what's going on. But I get to watch one more today. I'm allowed to watch one more. You're going to have to wait a few days to see that. You need patience just as much as I do. And until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.